Day three of the Time to Rise Summit event by Tony Robbins. Like day one and two, I'll be sharing my reflection on this and not theory or motivation based, just like really genuinely what has landed for me, what I challenged me, and what I will be applying in my life. Because you know how it is, like when you've been to an event or like attended or virtually or in person, whatever that is, you feel genuinely inspired, and then we move in, like we quietly then move back into our old identity. So as you're listening or as you're watching this, I want you to just see what's stirring up for you and seeing what's challenged you, and what is like what's what's that thing that gets to change, or how are you going to start applying it moving forward. So with that being said, let's dive into the 10 gems, and starting off with number one from the event. He said, you are not broken, you are in a chapter. Oh, what he was talking about here, he was reframing the hero's journey for us. And he was sharing that every meaningful life, ours, yours, mine, people would admire, people would know, there's been that middle bit that is messy, that messy middle. And in that messy middle, people just label themselves as just broken, that there's something wrong, like there is this issue, and like they live in this, like that's it for them. So this, it really landed for me because for the longest time, I thought, like before I knew I was like dyslexic, I always thought like, man, why can't I get, like I just felt there was something wrong. I had issues. Like you name it, I called myself that, wondering what the heck, what's wrong. And a lot of people, you just confuse that as meaning failure, because I truly did feel like there was, even though I felt intelligent, but at the same time I felt dumb. Like, why can't I just put this in paper? What's so yeah. So I did feel broken, but really it was just a confused transitional space that I was in, not really being clear. Um, so now when I'm in that space, I don't rush to fix things. I just kind of like, okay, what chapter am I in right now? What's this? What's going on here? What's it asking of me? Like, how am I to interpret this? Than going to like, okay, what's like, take a bit. What's showing up? What do I get to learn from this? So what's this trying to tell me or teach me? Gem number two. He said pain is inevitable. Ooh, the amount of time that I've tried to avoid pain, or people I know feel like, even somebody shared that they didn't know about people having problems. And it's the same way I see about pain. It's like, oh, why do I have problems? Why does this happen? Sometimes like pain is one of those things that everyone would experience. Anyway, let me just say what he said, and then I'll break it down because I'm going into the breaking it down. Then I chill. He said, pain is inevitable. Suffering comes from the meaning. So the pain is there, but we're naming it, and that's where we start suffering because of what we're naming. So he said, pain is going to happen, but suffering is created by the story we attach to the pain. Isn't that a mic drop moment? That, that reminded, like when I got that in the past, and like when he said it, it's like, yeah, yeah. Because we have this pain, and then we start making up stories about it. And and that's why you can have two people experience the same thing, and they will come up with totally different experiences from it. One person will just collapse with that pain, the other person succeed from it. They just have different meanings that they've attached to it. Someone that grew up with an abusive alcoholic parent once said, why do you think I'm the way I am? My parents are alcoholic. The other one said, why do you think I'm like this? I don't want to be like my parents that are alcoholic. That's not me. Two people, same parents, but they different parts. So it's such a powerful one that once we get this one, it will so help a lot of people because we then go into, because I've been in this season. Oh, why me? Why is this happening? Why, why, why do I have to, you name it? When we can just stop asking why me and then and ask, what is this thing trying to shape me? What, what, what is this shaping me for? What am I gonna learn from this? How is this gonna support me moving forward? When we can ask really quality questions and great questions that would help us moving forward than sitting in this brain like you don't understand. My parents are alcoholic. That's why I can't stop drinking. It's the meaning we're giving it. Then like, what do we want for ourselves? Gem number three. He said, the dark nights is an initiation, not a dead end. Ooh. So we were in that, still in that hero's journey, that act. And it was where we all reach a point and where our old identity no longer serves us. And then we have this certainty like, okay, that's it, we're done. And then a confidence deepen and we start doing the work that's required. And in that moment, people think, okay, oh, they're fading or whatever. That's just where the identity, like the old one is dying and we're expanding. So it's that space, people feel like when I reflect on it on my life, there were moments where I was carrying things that I felt like, I can't longer carry this thing forward. I can no longer live like this. This is not, it's too much. I'm done. Right. And, you know, this is it. So knowing that it's just that initiating bit is very vital where we, for me now, I just recognize those moments as just thresholds and not warning, thinking, oh, okay, no, no, okay. Chill now, Nene. Let's keep going. Gem number four, he said, your state decides the story you tell. Like we know, the states are the emotional and the physical things that we're experiencing, right? Our emotional states. Because what that would do, it will control what you're focusing on, it will control what the meaning you're giving, and it even control the decisions that you're taking. The states you're in. If you're like, "Ugh, Peter or me, blah blah blah, and you're and you're trying to do anything, you're trying to focus in a low state or in a more kind of like high state, like come on now. So we don't, people think, okay, now I just need to change the story. No, we change the state first, change how we're feeling and what's going on, and then the story will change. That's the order. So when you know how it is, like when you're tired, everything just feels heavy. How are you going to focus from there? How are you going to the meaning you're going to give from that is like, oh gosh, I'm not capable. I'm not like you're already tired. It's going to be heavy. But when you're grounded and when if you're grounded in that situation, even if you are tired, at least you still feel manageable. The thing will feel manageable. It's still the same state, but you're not feeling like, oh, we're like, okay, you ground yourself and center yourself. You can still manage and keep going. So, one of the key things for me is like, before I analyze anything, I move my body. Before I get on here, it's like, get let's go. So that I don't come in like, yeah, today's day three of the Time to Rise summit. You know, no. I mean, it's a Sunday that I'm filming this thing today, and it's normally kind of like my chill day, rest day, and whatever. But I've had to like pick myself up and like to come up and show up. If not, it was just gonna be a very whatever. You know what I mean? So yes. Analyze. If not, we could like spiral, or we could then, even as little as just changing our posture, breathing, whatever that is, can just help us into the next thing. Then be like, "Ugh, okay. Can you imagine if I was like using that my tired, restful energy to come in here to start talking to you? You'll be checked out, you'll be out. But I'm like bringing the vibrantness and like, let's go, let's do this. Gem number 5 from this, he said, you don't change because of logic. You change because of emotion. And that's why they always say people buy emotionally and then justify logically. So when you truly understand that logic is not it, it's the emotional side. And what he was trying to teach us there was like, people don't move when they understand. People move when when their emotion becomes strong enough. So it's not like, oh yeah, I get it now. Oh, so when I do 2 plus 2 gives me 4, and then when I take out the this, and no, he's like, do you know how much like what 4 will give you, and did it? Oh, where do I sign? People buy emotionally. We're not strong enough, and there are two forces that are the drivers: pain that you can't tolerate anymore, or the pleasure you are committing to creating. And as people get to that point where they're like, look, I'm done. For me, I lean towards the pain. And now that I'm creating stuff, I'm the pleasure of the creation. For me, doing this every single day is just fun. It's just kind of like I've made it fun. And yeah, loving the experience of it. So it's like the forces are we like, what's the driver? What's the thing that we're leaning to? Because for me, I didn't change my life because it made sense. I changed it because look, I was tired of staying in that hurt feeling. Like I just like, I was done. It was just miserable. I was making everybody around me miserable. So I was like, you know what, this is it. We ain't doing this no more. Like I'm done. So yeah, it's um, it's how it is. So it's not a case of like waiting for motivation. You just have to create that emotional leverage that will get you to the thing you want. You know. Let's move on. Gem number 6. He said, massive action comes before confidence. Oh, oh, oh. I remember when I used to be like, oh yeah, when I'm like, I'm okay on camera, then I would like go do the thing, or like when confidence is not the prerequisite of whatever it is that we want. It is a byproduct. If you look at my like videos from back of the time, like, you know, you can just see how it was to now. And imagine a year from now, what that gets to look like. The confidence I'm having to now be like, okay, and like the conversation, the ideas, and the learning, and like, the experimental, like it is, I, the confidence is shining through. And as I go on, it's going to keep compounding as we go. I remember my son sharing the other day, like, he does chores and he was washing the dishes, and it's like, oh my goodness, it takes me, washing plates now it's quicker, because at the time where it was like, oh gosh, yeah, now it's like a routine. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a routine, but what I mean is like he's so done it so many times now, and that it's like, oh, I can do it well in a shorter time of, like doing these videos, like it used to take me hours. Now, like from start hitting this record thing to when I publish, depending on the length, it's an hour. Before it's take hours just to think about what's gonna say, what am I gonna share, how am I gonna do this, what's this, that, what. So this is the thing he's saying, it's like through massive action, That's where the confidence will happen. If people that know me in my early teens or whatever and see me now will be like, whoa, where's that shy girl gone? And who is she? Who is that? Is that her? Yeah. By taking and doing the reps. Because waiting to feel ready for me before kept me stuck longer in the fear than I mean, waiting to feel ready kept me stuck longer than the fear actually ever did. You know? It's now I just move while I'm on shore. Even being on here, it's like let's just let's just keep showing up. Let's keep learning. Let's keep tweaking. And let's keep seeing things. You know? Let's let the action teach me who I am becoming. You know, this is a whole new thing that how showing up here, the becoming of this, let's see how like what who am I being in the process? What's it teaching my nervous system, my identity? And how is my confidence coming through? Because if I was waiting for the confidence to get to that level before I start showing up here, I don't I don't even know or think how that'll be a thing. Do you know what I mean? So we've got to move even when you're unsure. Take the leap, do the thing, work on the nervous system, and just do the least whatever. And if you ever like wanting to just do this YouTube thing as well, like, hey, just start, like, jump in, because I tell you, I've been for me, especially with my messaging, when I've been on other platform that will give me 90 seconds or 3 minutes max or whatever just to express myself. And I found it very difficult to share my what it is that I wanted to, how to activate people, or how to like get the message on, or how to get them from that like to like, oh yeah, that's me. And over time there, I was making traction on Instagram. But I tell you what now, in the 50 odd what consistent daily post I have now, the clarity in how I like explain what I'm doing, or how I articulate my message or what it is that I'm putting out there and things like that. It's just like, wow, okay. Thinking about, okay, how do I express? Okay, within that didn't land. Okay, how do we do that the next day and make sure that the message is right or whatever? And then, okay, let's do this next. The muscle that I'm building in the clarity in my messaging and in how things are going, heaps and bounds than I have done in the years I've been like posting on Instagram. Just this short time here, long form, massive difference for me. Massive. And that's because of the massive action. All right, okay. Win 7. Yes. Gem number 7. And if you're wondering, so I'm doing the British Sign Language number sign, especially the ones down south, how we do it. Because again, even in sign language in over here in the UK, it's regional as well. Everyone has their own. So this is number 7 in sign language over here. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Some people do 9 this way. 10. I know. Just if you're wondering, what's she doing with her hands? That's what. Gem number 7, meaning turn wounds into strength. What he was teaching us there was your past does not define you. The meaning you give it does. And what I was tongue twist with yesterday when I was talking about the mean machine, that we are all meaning making machines. We're always giving meaning to everything, you know? Like people would, so let's say this same past year, we label it as, oh, I'm damaged. And then what happens when you label yourself as damaged? You start shrinking. You start. But if you label it like, you know what, I forged that. I went through that. Like, and you're rising. So whatever meaning we're giving something, like I shared how this person, somebody I know, they've changed the story now, but they would always say, the reason why I'm like this, I'm overweight, I'm smoking, I'm this because someone stole my identity online. Because this what happened. That's why I'm like this. Because of the meaning they feel, they've now resorted to that. So when reflecting on what he said, when I gave meaning to, oh, everybody laughed at me. So I went and hid. I was invincible. I would be in places and people even know. One time somebody asked my mom, oh, is that your daughter? Like, because I'm not hiding everywhere. No one, it was like the meaning I was given to just that experience shaped my life for the longest time, you know? And now I see it as change the meaning of that. So now I'm very empathetic and how I like deal with other people. It's so it's not about resenting the past. It's how do we use it moving forward? Now, how do we use that then say, "Oh, because that, da, da, da." No. What meaning are we giving whatever it is that we've experienced, what we've gone through, and all those things? So let's be mindful about that. Gem number 8. Your hardest experience shapes your contribution. Oh my goodness. When he said that, oh, my heart felt like, oh, because nothing is wasted when if you decide it isn't. When I went through that season of, oh, you can't be an interpreter because you're dyslexic moment, and I forged through that. Because what that happened, I told myself so many stories of how incapable, how unworthy, how useless, how, who's gonna want to use someone that cannot string a sentence together or do this, what like when you talk about meaning that I gave that experience. And when I then went past that and like changed the story and the my new story on that experience and all those things, and I started seeing other people that had this like, I was like, no, whoa, wow, I've been through this. I'm now here. Now I get to help other people who've experienced this place that felt like they're not capable, they're unworthy, that feel like, because I thought like it was my skill that I needed to improve when my interpreting career. I just needed one more training. I just needed to do this, I needed to do that. And when I realized it wasn't my skill, the skill was a secondary thing. It was the limiting beliefs that I was putting on myself. It was my how I saw myself, the self-worth, the self-loathing of self, all those things. And how uncertain I was about if I could do this work, if I could be an interpreter. Those were the drivers, not the skill. But I was thinking, no, I just need to do one more. When I get qualified, okay, I got qualified. Okay, when I do the finger spelling training, or when I do the voiceover training, when I do this, when I do that, I kept collecting skills and not dealing with the main issue. So when I went past that and worked on how I saw myself and started loving me and started slapping off those limiting beliefs of myself, then the skills start shining through. Did the opportunity then come? Nene, would like you to interpret for the late the Majesty, the Queen of England. They saw everybody else and they said, now, can you do this job for us? If I was still in that, I'm not sure playing junior, would they have asked me, Nene, can you do this job? Nine. No. If I was picking Germans, nine. Oh, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's shit. So now, having gone through that, I'm now like telling my colleagues and friends, coaching them and saying, babe, your skill, look, skill might need improving, but we need to tackle these other things as well first. This bit, we need to up level. Once we are now like clean, that skill is just gonna fly through. When we take away those limiting beliefs of like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not capable, I'm not worthy, we stop the hesitation, the overwhelm, the procrastination, the self-loathing, the overwhelm, the I'm going to say procrastination again, self-rejection or rejection in general, you know, that fear of success, the fear of failure. All those things will then become like, we have tools and things to like deal with that. Doesn't mean we're fearless, we just fearless. We have the tools to like go through. So yeah, so when I learned how to do this, I thought, okay, let me support other people who are in that space, in that transition. Let's get this going. So yeah, because when hot, whatever hot, English is not my first language, in case you didn't. Because what hurts you now becomes you understand it deeper, and then you can help other people because of that understanding that you have. And that's why I keep telling people I don't teach through theory. I share what I've experienced and what I've been through. Because I didn't choose my challenges, but I did choose who I became. So those things happen, but how and what I learned from it, I chose that. Okay? And you get to do that too. So it's now a case of asking, for me, how I'm living this thing for me in this season is like, who do I serve because of what I've been through? What I've learned? It's like people eventually somewhat get there, but would you rather get there further faster than going in this snail's pace flow? Yeah. Anyway, gem number 9. The hero's moment is deciding this ends with me. Ooh, as I love so many movements that people have like, the championed and like they're gonna express. It's like I just like for me, it's like no, like why should any other person or when I speak to my interpreters, like why go through that? You can just see when people walk in, like you can just see the load they're carrying. Someone has said something and it's scarred into them. It's so ingrained in them, you know? So at the point, so on that hero's journey, at some point, the hero stops to ask, why did this happen? He was sharing with us. And then declares, this changes with me. So now that I've been through that and been through all those things, now I want other people that are similar situation to not have to experience this, you know? Because that moment is often very quiet. It is not dramatic, and it's deeply personal when we can really find that for us. And it's not, for me, it's not about waiting for circumstances to change. We have to change by being and choosing who I am now. That's how it's going to work. You choose the being you want in the change. And gem number 10. The real breakthrough is identity plus action. Like my tag, awareness plus repetition equals identity. So here he's saying, emotional breakthrough fades unless the following happens. You have the identity decision and repeated action. So for me, you have the awareness of whatever it is. Okay, this is it. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not like, who says I can't do that? Okay, now we've gotten that awareness. Yeah. Now, repeated action. What's that thing? What are we going to start invoking ourselves? I did a video about affirmations and incantations and how affirmations just in the head, what incantations were embodying that. Imagine if it's like a mind, like a self-worth thing, like how you see yourself, using that, repeating that daily as what I did. Do you then start become like, you know what, I'm a badass. I'm okay with everybody not being okay with me. And it's fine. Not everyone's gonna be a fan, not everyone's gonna love you, not everyone's gonna whatever that is, as long as you are strong in you, you hold steadfast to self and not allow whatever. Do you know what I mean? That's the key. Having that feeling better is temporary, but becoming, oh, it's different. That's permanent. When we're in it, like this is who I am becoming, and that's what this space is all about. Like the process of the becoming, you know. So like what he was saying for me, my reflection on what he on this point is, oh excuse me, oh I jumped. Here we go. So what I ask myself daily now from the reflection of that is, who would the next version of me do and why? And I live from that moving forward every day. What's the next version of me do now? You know, how would they show up? What would they start thinking? How would they, whatever that is, start now. So yeah, here we go. The 10 gems from the videos. And if I was to summarize the whole event, day 3, what's the one message would be, you don't need the story to make sense before you move. You don't need confidence before you act. And you don't need more clarity before you begin. Because you're not behind. You are not broken. You are in a mid journey of it. Like this is it. This new season. And I love the premise. This is the time to rise. This is a whole new, like we have this voyage. The year of look, this might not be the how it is explained, but according to the Chinese people, their horse, I might be messing this thing up. My friend said it's the year of the horse, and we're galloping. Let's gallop into this year with the being of who we want to be, with the focus and the drive. This whole 3 days, let it be like the awakening. And if you're wanting, like, to in that season of this transitioning and wanting, and you just want the conversation to just be like, okay, this is not, we're not doing salesy, whatever, but have conversation of what's that showing up for you, and how are we, how are you moving forward with this learning, and what does that get to look like? Hit me up. You can put down reset there. I would schedule something together, or just check whatever. If it's you don't on a calendar link below. If nothing is landing, then yeah, just put a reset, and I know we can then talk privately when we can just jump on a call and see how we can what's showing up and what we're learning in this becoming, because your voice matters, and truly, it's your time to use it. And this is a season for us to gallop into 2026 and beyond as we keep going, flourishing. Nene here. Bye for now.